Welcome and welcome back. I'm B. Winter is coming, and these films are perfect for cold, dark nights when you're craving thrills and chills. Whether it's isolation, paranoia, or the unforgiving winter landscapes, each of these movies brings something unique to the season's horrors. Let's dive into my five picks for winter horror. 30 Days of Night is set in Barrow, Alaska, where the town plunges into a month of darkness each year. While most residents leave for the winter, those who stay are caught off guard when a pack of vicious vampires descends, turning the endless night into a brutal fight for survival. I love that this movie is set in Alaska. It's the perfect place for vampires to thrive. A month of total darkness, they couldn't ask for a better hunting ground. The snowy, frozen environment makes everything feel so much harsher and more unforgiving, which just adds to the tension. It's not just the vampires the characters have to deal with, it's also the brutal cold, the isolation, and the fact that there's no help coming. One thing I really appreciated was the look of the vampires. Usually, vampires are presented as sexy or charming, but these vampires, they're animalistic, primal, and downright terrifying. It just feels more realistic for what they are predators. This movie is packed with thrills, action, and even some emotional moments. It's such a great blend of horror and survival, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Next up is Longlegs. Longlegs follows FBI agent Lee Harker as she dives into a chilling, unsolved serial killer case. As the investigation unfolds, evidence of the occult surfaces, and Harker discovers a deeply personal connection to the killer, making the stakes even higher. This movie blends crime investigation with supernatural horror in a way that keeps you on your toes. The opening scene hooked me right away. It had this grainy old camcorder look that immediately set an eerie tone. That panning shot to the White House against the stark white snow was so striking. It really stuck with me. The winter backdrop wasn't just pretty, it added this cold, desolate feeling that fit the story perfectly. Nicolas Cage gave such a great performance as the weird and creepy villain. He brought this unsettling energy to the role that made the character feel larger than life, but still believable in a really disturbing way. Oh, and Blair Underwood is in this too. If you're into crime horror with a supernatural twist, this is definitely worth a watch. The cinematography alone makes it stand out, and the story takes some deep, unexpected turns that keep it engaging. Next is The Thing. The Thing is a sci fi horror classic that follows a research team in Antarctica as they face a shape shifting alien capable of assuming the appearance of its victims. As paranoia spreads and trust erodes, the team must figure out how to survive both the alien threat and each other. The Thing is a classic for a reason. It's one of those movies that just gets everything right. The Antarctic setting alone makes it the ultimate winter horror movie. You really can't get any colder, darker, or more isolated than that. The environment isn't just a backdrop, it's a part of the horror. The freezing temperatures and endless white make it clear that there's no escaping, and that sense of being trapped amplifies everything else. The movie does such a great job building tension. You can feel the paranoia growing as the team starts to realize they can't trust anyone. That fear of not knowing who's human and who's not is so effective. It keeps you on the edge the entire time. The practical effects are another standout. They're still incredible to this day, and they make the alien transformation so much scarier. And unlike a lot of horror movies, the characters are actually smart. They do everything they can to handle the situation logically, which makes their struggle feel even more real. I also love the ambiguity of the ending. It leaves you with this lingering unease and so many questions, which feels perfect for a story like this. Now we have Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which is a found footage horror mystery thriller that takes the franchise in a new direction. This time, the story follows a woman uncovering dark family secrets while filming a documentary on a secluded Amish farm. This one's a bit different from the other paranormal activity movies. It's not connected to the original storylines at all, so you're getting something completely fresh with new characters. That actually works in its favor. It feels less tied down by the franchise's history and more like its own standalone horror mystery. If you like found footage movies, it's a decent little watch. The winter setting adds a subtle chill to the atmosphere. While the farm is populated and doesn't feel completely isolated, the cold, snowy surroundings give the film a muted, eerie vibe. It creates a sense of unease that lingers in the background, making the events feel even more unsettling. It's not the best movie in the franchise, but it's an interesting departure and worth checking out if you enjoy found footage or are looking for something with creepy winter atmosphere. Finally, we have The Lie. The Lie is a drama thriller with some horror elements centered around a family trying to cover up their daughter's crime. As their lives spiral out of control, the story becomes a tense exploration of morality, trust, and desperation. This movie escalates fast. What starts as a small lie quickly snowballs into a web of deception. Things get absurd at points, but in a way that keeps you watching because you're curious how it would all play out. Personally, I didn't predict the outcome, which was a pleasant surprise. It's not the best movie out there, but it's entertaining enough to be worth a try if you're in the mood for something tense and unpredictable. The cold, bleak winter setting adds an extra layer to the story. The snow and icy landscapes make everything feel more isolated and emotionally cold, almost reflecting the family's moral decay as they dig themselves deeper into their lives. The setting gives the movie a dreary, unsettling vibe that really amplifies the tension. While The Lie isn't a straight up horror movie, its darker themes and tense atmosphere might appeal to fans of psychological thrillers. If you're okay with a story that gets a little bit over the top but keeps you guessing, this one's worth a try. All right, folks, those are my picks for winter horror movies that bring the chills in more ways than one. From isolated research stations to snow covered farms, these films show that winter can be as terrifying as it is beautiful. Have you seen any of these films? Do you have a favorite winter horror movie? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror content.